Hey everybody, it's Joe from the Strange Voyage Files. It is September 15th, 2025. As you can tell from part of my background, I am going to do the Star Wars movies. I actually did this video, whole thing and whatnot. Realized I left some stuff out. So I'm going to try to do this, not forget everything, and hopefully I'll be happy with the final product. Now, I'm doing all of them. Not doing any TV shows, just doing the films. Not doing. I know there's a Clone Wars movie. I'm not going to do that. Just the live action ones. And yes, all of them, not just the Skywalker saga. One of the things I forgot though when I did this the first time around was Marsha Lucas, and I really do want to take a second to talk about her because she plays a very pivotal role in the original trilogy. She is not only a phenomenal editor, but she is a sounding board for George in the manner where when things weren't working, she could tell George that. She was his wife. She could say, George, this isn't working. You got to redo this. Let's fix this. And was very, very instrumental in the success of Star Wars and Return of the Jedi. Now, in looking at this, I don't think, leave the message in the comments, I don't think she was involved in Empire Strikes Back but that's okay because I'll talk about that in a second. But without her, I don't think these films would have been nearly as successful as they were. And I don't think the first Star Wars would have been what it was, the cultural phenomenon that it was. So we have to absolutely take into account Marsha Lucas because her contributions, her editing, her ideas, and her ability to say, George, this isn't working, was an absolute foundation for the first three Star Wars movies, or at least Star Wars and Jedi. And this is kind of why people are so critical of the prequels, because by the time we get to the prequels, George, they're divorced. George has a bunch of yes men around him, and oh, yes, George, it's a great idea to have an hour and 45-minute pod race in the middle of a film. Everyone's going to love that. Yeah, George, let's have some crazy, weird alien that nobody can understand running around with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon through the first film. The Neimoidians that nobody can understand, Neimoidians, however you say their name. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's have that where nobody understands. Let's make the first one be a political thriller. Let's have Anakin Skywalker be the whiniest person in the galaxy. And that is not a knock on Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen did exactly what he was scripted to do. Now, anybody who says that Hayden Christensen cannot act, watch a movie called Shattered Glass. Probably have to find it on DVD. I don't even know if you can stream it, but it's based on a true story. And if you think this man cannot act, watch that movie. And if you still think so, you're wrong. Because what he does in Shattered Glass is unbelievable. It's a phenomenal movie. I think it was one of those made for HBO type things. I don't believe it was ever released in theaters. He's incredible in Shattered Glass. But Marsha Lucas absolutely, and she's been public with her disdain for the prequels. And I think the prequels would have been much better if she was involved. Also, John Williams. I mean, Star Wars would not be Star Wars without John Williams. Without that score, without his genius, there is nobody else. James Horner, who's been great with Star Trek. So many of these other composers who are absolutely phenomenal, but John Williams is the only person that could have pulled off Star Wars. And the soundtrack is a large part of these movies. So, again, these were things that I did forget. And when I did this the first time around, so I wanted to take a few minutes and address these. All right, let's jump into this. No big surprise what the bottom of the barrel is going to be. It's Solo. Lots of problems with this movie. First off, I don't like trains. I just don't. I was never a train guy. Never going to be one of those people. I got as a kid, as a little kid, my aunt or someone got me a model train, which I think if I would have kept, I don't know, it was supposed to be in my parents' attic, but the guy I hired to clean out the attic, I think left stuff up there because I was missing a whole bunch of stuff. But she was kind of loaded and said, "Don't lose this train." I only set it up twice or three times. But I had no interest in a model train. I don't like anything with trains. I just don't like. I'm not a train guy. So the fact that a big part of this movie or a focal point of this movie it's on a trains in space, there in itself is stupid. So I don't like that was. I know it's for some people you're gonna be like, you're an idiot. It's a train. Who cares? I don't like it. Then the biggest thing is, I mean, you had Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams and Peter Mayhew in three iconic character roles. And again, the people who acted in this movie, they did a good job. If it wasn't Solo, if it was something else, it may have been a better movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these guys. Alden, whatever his name is, did a good job. And I like Woody Harrelson a lot as an actor. I didn't like him in this. Donald Glover's phenomenal. Did a great job as Lando, but he's not Billy D. Williams. There are some characters you just can't do. These are the characters. You just can't redo these characters. You absolutely can't. I feel so bad for Emilia Clarke because, and here's why. She's a sweetheart. I mean, unless she's just playing this, she's got everybody fooled. But by all intents and purposes, she is really supposed to be a sweet person in real life, funny and quirky, and just a really nice person. This poor girl consistently gets these horrible movies. She got this. She got the horrible Terminator movie. I mean, she was extraordinarily good in Game of Thrones, but I'm sure she doesn't want to just be Khaleesi for the rest of her life, and nor should she be, because she's a great actress. And I think the poor thing has gone through some health problems too. She's just supposed to be just an absolute sweet, wonderful person. And I really felt bad that, Terminator and this bomb. And then the last thing that, about this thing, Darth Maul, who never should have been killed off in The Phantom Menace, and we'll get to that when I get to The Phantom Menace. Really, we could set up for a real live-action Darth Maul movie, but this thing sucks so bad that we lose it, and now we're getting a cartoon. And I know a lot of you guys are into that stuff. I'm not. And that's great. I mean, the whole Clone Wars saga and there's a lot of... I did like Rebels. I'm not going to lie. I did like Rebels. But... no. Although, gotta take Rebels versus most of the live-action shows. I'll take Rebels. But Darth Maul deserves his own series of real movies, or at least a real series. Not a video game on TV. Come on. So no, absolute flop. Waste all around. Next one. Empire Strikes Back. I mean, absolutely pathetic attempt for a sequel. No character development. Plot doesn't go anywhere. And I got you. Come on. This isn't that. Are you crazy? But I got you. You all thought that this was the next movie, didn't you? All right. Now, we all know what the next movie is because it's going to be the same for everybody else. Well, for the vast majority of people. The real next garbage movie. Now, all right, these movies that I'm at right now, I don't even, if they come on TV, I flip the channel. That's how bad these are. Last Jedi. This is garbage. And I cannot believe, I know that stupid light. Much like, where I always say Madison's going to do my Instagram and the X and whatnot, and that's kind of the running joke, and I always say I'm going to do something with this light. That's kind of, get that from my dad. My dad was I'm going to do it on Monday. On Monday. And I always said, I'm going to do something so that light doesn't shine and make my fat head shine. Get around to it on Monday. Last Jedi, this is terrible. And I blame... We do a 37-hour video if I even go down this rabbit hole. The incompetence, which is named Kathleen Kennedy. But I also blame J.J. Abrams, because J.J. Abrams, you expect a lot from, because he's a phenomenal director. Kathleen Kennedy, yeah, I know she's been with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg since the early 80s or late 70s, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. That's great. She's a mess. She's a disaster. Woman does not know what she's doing. But J.J. Abrams should have known well enough to say, look, we got to have these 3 movies scripted out. We at least have to have a good working outline of all 3 of these prequel movies. The fact that they let 3 different people, and originally what becomes The Rise of Skywalker was going to be like, what, a Colin Trevorrow or whatever. I don't even remember the guy's name. But the fact that each movie was going to be a different director with a different vision, telling their own story, was the stupidest thing in the world. And yes, I know there's elements from George Lucas's sequels in these. From what we've seen of what George Lucas wanted to do, it would have been 1,000 times better than this. This is a joke. Everything that from the stupid casino scene, which is, I remember being in the theater and just going, what is this? What is going on? I mean, there's that. I remember my dad was with us, and he's like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. You have that. You have, killing off Snoke. I mean, great for a 1-second shocker moment, but then what do you go from there? The whole light speed into a ship. Yeah, they could have done that. Losing fuel, that's never been a problem. That's never been a problem in Star Wars of running out of fuel. Because there was, at this point in technology, it probably wouldn't be a concern. So that was another stupid thing. Admiral, whatever her name was with the purple hair, throwaway character. I like comedy, but when it's done right. Irvin Kershner did it right. Rian Johnson, this moron, waste. Absolute waste. And yes, Mark Hamill was 100 trillion% correct. Luke Skywalker was the most optimistic person in the galaxy. And what Rian Johnson did to our beloved character in this movie is a crime. They should have scrubbed it. They should have made this dumb movie, seen how horrible it was, it went over, scrubbed it, said, hey, we screwed up, we're reshooting it, and with J.J. Abrams, and then went from there. Rose, I mean, the girl did what again, like Hayden well, I'll get to it when I get there. She did what she did as far as what was written, but a throwaway character, just not a good character. Space flying Leia, come on. What else? This is just stupid all around. Absolutely, an absolute waste of everything. Projection Luke, come on, just forget it. Whole thing was stupid. When I did this before, but they could change. Things should, you know what? Yeah, next one. And this goes either way for people. Attack of the Clones. No. And again, I can't blame Hayden Christensen, nor can I blame Natalie Portman. But I give a little bit more blame to her, and I'll tell you why in a second. First off, you can't, hang on, my children are home. Hold, please. All right, I'm back. Not that you noticed. So whiny Darth Vader doesn't do it. I remember Kevin Smith said, who's the, going to turn out to be the most evil guy in the galaxy? It's going to be a whiny crybaby. No. Okay. So before the prequels, everybody had their own idea of who Anakin Skywalker was going to be. I always thought he would be a lot like Han Solo. He'd be the rogue. He'd be kind of badass. He'd be good, really cool, swashbuckler type person. That something happens that turns him evil. This was horrible, absolutely horrible. But again, Hayden did what was scripted, so no, I'm not going to attack Hayden for this by any means. Natalie too. I don't think Amidala was written very well. Where the difference lies, though, is Natalie Portman always gave me the impression like she didn't want to be in these movies. It was like, here's, like your agent said, this is a great opportunity, big money, whole thing. You could tell she was phoning in all three. Maybe not as much the first one, but the other two, yeah. They had no chemistry between them whatsoever. No, you didn't care about the love story. I don't think anybody cared about the love story. Christopher Lee is phenomenal in this, as always. I mean, the man's a god. But they should have kept them all alive. Count Dooku, Christopher Lee, the actor, is phenomenal. Count Dooku, the character, expendable. And that point is proven because he dies right in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. They should have kept them all alive. And then, this is the first one, at least on this list, Ian McDiarmid. The perfection of Star Wars. He plays Sidious in a way nobody else can. And Kathleen Kennedy, the man has said 1,000,000 times he wants to do a series. He's not a spring chicken anymore. Don't know how long. I mean, I don't ever want to lose the man, but he's not going to live forever. Everybody wants a Sidious Vader series. Everybody. Nobody cares about a bunch of little kids flying through space with some pirate guy. Okay? Even Andor. You could have gone in a great direction with the Acolyte, but didn't happen. Give the people what they want. And that, I told you I can go down a whole rabbit hole. Kids got into Star Wars for the lightsabers. Okay? It was just really a cool side effect that Han Solo was a cool pirate. People do not watch Star Wars for gangsters and for underground crime lords. We have The Sopranos. Okay? We don't need Star Wars. Give the people Sidious and Vader like they want. But at any rate, obviously the Yoda Dooku lightsaber battle is awesome. I was not impressed with the big lightsaber battle at the end on Geonosis. Ewan McGregor's phenomenal in this. Samuel L. Jackson rules. He should have had a... Now, you could have had Dooku come in and Dooku fight Mace Windu and Yoda fight Darth Maul, or other way around, or not. Yeah, other way around, however it may have been, or something like that. But they did not show off Mace Windu as they should have at all in the trilogy, in my opinion. And that's a crime. Again, one I'll turn off. So that was, between Attack of the Clones and Rise of Skywalker, I could go back and forth, but I will kind of keep this on if it's on. Sorry, guys. I know that light. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not a technical person. It's like the light of God is shining down on me. Nothing could be farther than the truth. Rise of Skywalker is next. I'll keep it on because it's got some good segments to it, but again, a rush job. Palpatine had somehow returned. Come on. Wiping 3PO's mind. Stupid. The whole thing where, again, they're searching for something like they were searching for Luke I don't know. It just Chewie's dead, but he's not dead. I Am All the Jedi. The Harry Potter ending. It was a rush job, and I would rather them have taken because they were kind of saying, well, we're doing. I think it was, what was it, every 2 years a film was coming out. They could have said, you know what, no, this is going to be every 3 to 4. This one's going to be this one is going to be 3, maybe 4 years later, because we got to fix what Rian Johnson screwed up. Lando, saving grace in this movie. Again, the actors are really good. I can't say anything bad about the actors. I know that what's her name? Daisy Ridley gets creamed. Just ripped apart for Rey. I don't think she did a bad job. I don't think Rey is one of the best characters in Star Wars. But, I don't think she did I don't think she did a horrible job. Poe is probably my favorite character out of all this. Yeah, Kylo Ren's good, but again, you kind of get Mr. Crybaby, so that doesn't work. But Adam Driver is an unbelievable actor. And again, he gave a great performance with what was written. Wasn't written well. Just not. The only saving grace of this movie, even though it was such a bad movie, was Ian McDiarmid. Because the man can do no wrong. And when he is Sidious, it is absolute gold on the screen. But, yeah. The next one. Yeah. Yeah. I'm stuck between two. This is what happens when I don't plan things out. But I don't like planning things out. Yeah. First, Phantom Menace. Again, Ian McDiarmid, phenomenal. Ewan McGregor, phenomenal. Liam Neeson, phenomenal. 8-year-old and a 13-year-old having feelings grow for each other. Not seeing it. Not wanting to see it. Not wanting anything to do with it. No. The Phantom Menace, the whole secret was, who is this secret Sith Lord? Well, everybody who ever had almost anything to do with Star Wars, knew anything about Star Wars, knew that Sidious and Palpatine were the same person. Killed off Darth Maul, which was stupid. He should have been through the entire series. Jar Jar Binks, of course, is a joke. But I do love the whole fan base theory that Jar Jar Binks is actually the Sith Lord that's really pulling the strings. God, it would almost be worth it to see that. Again, Natalie Portman, probably her best acting in Star Wars is in this one. But again, it feels like she's phoning it in. Because she's a very good actress. It's not that she's a bad actress. I don't think she had any interest. Pod Race is a complete and utter waste of time. Very stupid. Midichlorians screwed up the mythology of Star Wars in a way that I don't know if it can be fixed unless they somehow erase midichlorians. Maybe say that Qui-Gon Jinn was a crack addict and all the other Jedi that spoke about it were doing crack with them. And they just saw these midichlorians. I think maybe we could all buy that. But you took some great aspects of a movie where, as far as Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, and I don't think they should have killed off Qui-Gon either. I think it would have been... Qui-Gon didn't have to train Anakin. See, they killed him off so Obi-Wan could train Anakin to match up with the original trilogy. Well, could have been a million reasons why Qui-Gon doesn't end up training Anakin. But Qui-Gon was a great character. They shouldn't have killed him off. So they kill off two of the best characters in the prequel trilogy. They give us a ridiculous pod race. They give us two kids flirting with each other, which is not anything any of us wanted to see. Phenomenal acting from Ian McDiarmid. Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, and a political plot. Now, I did go see this movie about 7 times because it was Star Wars and the excitement. And I mean, I remember when the trailer came on and I taped it. Yes, taped it. Watched it over and over again. And it was it was on online and watched it over and over. And people, it was Meet Joe Black. That movie, like the first week or so, was #1 because people were going to see the Star Wars trailer because that was the movie it was showing with, and then walking out. So that was kind of funny, but you know, it's a political thriller. It's not Star Wars. Lightsaber battle at the end's phenomenal. The Duel of the Fates is absolutely phenomenal, but could have done so much more with this one. All right. I know this one gets a lot of flack. I like it. I like it. Force Awakens. Yes, it's a rehash. Yes, it is Star Wars 77. But it's fun. What I can't stand about this movie is we were robbed. This should have been Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, Lando, R2-D2, C-3PO movie. With these other characters kind of, in the baby seats in the back. But this should have been our swan song to the original cast. This was a joke. We were robbed. It was pathetic. J.J. Abrams knew that Harrison Ford wanted to be killed off in this movie. They kind of had us believing maybe it wasn't going to happen because everybody was waiting for him to die. From the second we walked into this movie. But when I saw the lightsaber come out from Kylo Ren's hand, even though it looked like he wasn't going to kill him, I knew. We all knew. We were absolutely robbed. And that's what I take away from this movie. But it is a fun movie. Again, it's a rehash. I do like the characters. I think the dynamic between Poe and Finn, just in that first sequence, is awesome. They could have been like a buddy cop movie. They could have kept this going through the entire movie. And I think it would have worked a lot better than Poe and Rey. Rey would have still been in the movie, but I think that kind of like Lethal Weapon type thing going on, or Tango and Cash between the two of them going on through this movie would have made it a whole lot of fun. Adam Driver is really good in this movie. Yeah, it's fun. It is, if you take it for what it is, which is a more current telling of Star Wars 77 than but it's enjoyable. I like it. I will leave this movie on. God. Yeah. Oh, man. It's going to be weird, but Return of the Jedi's next. The trilogy, the original trilogy. And again, this is usually everybody's lowest in the original trilogy. Great movie, but the Ewoks, that's part of it. Even as a kid, the Ewoks were a marketing campaign. Just on a fluke, R2-D2 in Star Wars 77 was loved by not only kids, but girls. They thought he was cute. Whoa. Plush R2-D2 toys? This is Star Wars 77. That's supposed to be a boys' movie. That's supposed to be Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. And then when little girls were going to Toys R Us and seeing R2-D2 and going, that's cute, Mommy, buy that for me. I liked him in the movie. The beeping was cute. George Lucas went to Empire Strikes Back and turned Yoda, who I believe was supposed to be some long, gangly, reptilian-looking thing, and said, no, let's make him Kermit the Frog. And let's sell plush toys. Then that worked, and then he said, hey, no, not Wookiees. Let's make teddy bears. It does work. It's not the greatest. It does work. But great movie. Still an unbelievable movie. Jabba's palace scene is phenomenal. Sequence is phenomenal. The redemption of Vader is phenomenal. Again, Ian McDiarmid is our intro to him, and he grand slam all across the board. Absolutely great movie. Original treatment was Luke was actually supposed to turn to the dark side, which would have been interesting. But that would have kind of sequenced into a sequel trilogy that at the time Lucas didn't want to do and then denied that he even had plans for years. But I think this is a really, really good movie. The redemption of Vader is obviously the biggest part of it. It's a lot of fun, too. So, yep, this Return of the Jedi is my next one. Next one I love, man. Rogue One. This. They screwed up. They should not have killed the characters off in this movie. This was a trilogy waiting to be made. And they screwed up. Every character, with the exception of Saw Gerrera, I thought that whole thing with having two rebel groups was stupid. And I didn't think the character was all that great. But beyond that, I'm looking at every single one of these characters. Look at this lineup. Every single one of them is unbelievable. They're well written. You care about them. They all have an essential plot point in the story. And this is not just a great Star Wars movie. This is a great movie. My buddy hates this stuff. Hates it. He liked the original trilogy, but would never put it on and watch it by himself. Anything like that. I told him to watch this. He loves it. He really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, the Vader hallway scene is epic, but director Krennic, great character, and I mean, all of them. Every single one of these characters, and they work the chemistry between all of them. This was just a great ensemble. The story was good. It was great how it linked into Star Wars 77. The real Star Wars. And it had the elements. It felt like the first half of that movie. They hit it right. I know, some people didn't like it. Some people didn't get it. I love this movie. It's a movie I watch often, actually. And it stinks that they killed everyone off because this absolutely... Again, Andor was okay. I enjoyed it. I didn't... But we should have gotten this. This should have been the prelude to a series if they were going to do anything. Absolutely love it. Next one. The redemption to the prequels. Revenge of the Sith. I mean, the movie we had all been waiting for. The movie that we sat through Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones for. Hayden is phenomenal in this. Ian, a god. Ewan, a god. I don't mean to... this isn't a bash Natalie Portman. But she has no... Truthfully, she has no plot in this movie. With the exception of be the reason Anakin turns to the dark side, have 2 kids, die. Really. That's it. Now, the deleted scenes, if they would have kept the deleted scenes in, with kind of the setup to the Rebel Alliance, I think it would have been a lot more interesting. And I think when you watch those deleted scenes, that's where Natalie doesn't seem to be phoning it in. Maybe Natalie thought, hey, I'm just Darth Vader's girlfriend. But those scenes, she is really Queen Amidala, or at that point Senator Amidala, has a driving force. So I think they should have kept them in. I know it slowed the story down, but I think it would have, at least for her character development. Lightsaber duels are unbelievable, epic. Vader, or Sidious versus Yoda. Anakin versus Obi-Wan, which is probably, the best lightsaber duel of all the Star Wars movies. Absolutely phenomenal. The movie is action-packed all the way through. Yeah, asinine, stupid elements. Why does he turn to the dark side? Because he's having dreams about his wife dying. That's why. Could I come up with anything better? She dies of a broken heart. I mean, seriously. That's what you come up with? And then I think we were robbed with another big story point. And this goes back to why they shouldn't have killed off Darth Maul. I knew this was going to happen, but I was hoping I would have been wrong, but I wasn't. He should have become the Darth Vader we know, like 2/3 through the film. And the last third should have been first him and our Darth Vader, masked Darth Vader, fighting Darth Maul, killing Darth Maul, and then killing Jedi. We never got to see, until the Obi-Wan series, we never really got to see Darth Vader be Darth Vader. And I knew we were going to be robbed. I knew Lucas was going to do this. It was going to be the last 5 minutes of the film where we got Darth Vader. I mean, Star Wars just likes to rob us of everything. For future reference, people making Star Wars, watch Picard. Watch Picard Season 3. See what fans actually want. Not what you think is going to be good. Because your numbers aren't looking good. I'm sure your Excel spreadsheet at the bottom isn't looking good either. But yeah, great movie. Absolutely, absolutely great movie. All right. All right, now for its real position. Yes, Empire Strikes Back. I know this is a lot of people's number one. This is a lot of people's favorite, and it's a great movie. You have everything. You have comedy. You have action. You have drama. You have a love triangle. Yeah, everything about this movie is phenomenal. The epic reveal, Luke, I'm your father, or no, I'm your father, makes this movie infamous. Han Solo is, really the guy that all the girls were like, oh, hi, Han. Hi, you're cute. Because he was Billy Badass in this movie. The I know line in itself. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of girls really liked that one. We see Vader because, in the first movie, it really is Alec Guinness and David Prowse battling. And this time they actually got a real swordsman to fight. So it's a more epic battle. The story is great. Yoda works. Yoda could have been, Yoda really was Kermit the Frog. So that could have gone sideways real fast. And Frank Oz, who's another genius, made it work. As did Mark Hamill. Because if Mark Hamill did not believe that this was a Jedi Master and instead said this is a marketing tool for 8-year-old girls to buy a plush toy, we would never have believed it. But God bless Mark Hamill. He believed in it. He loved the character of Luke, and he wanted to protect it. He believed it. We believed it. It worked. The Hoth sequence is phenomenal. We get introduced to Lando Calrissian. Come on, Billy D. Williams. Everything about this movie, just action-packed. Every second of this movie is gold. And that leaves, a lot of people say Empire's the best, but I grew up with it, man. The original Star Wars. So I'm 4 years old, 4 years old, something like that. So it would have been 3, right? Yeah, I guess I would have been 3 years old. Going into 4, close to 4 years old, my parents take me to see this movie. Cry the first. I get to the Jawa scene, I guess. Now, this is going. My parents told me. I don't remember any of this. Actually, I kind of remember crying. I do kind of remember seeing looking at the Jawas and crying. But I get to the Jawa sequence and flip. Absolutely flip out. We leave. Commercials keep playing for this movie. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. My parents are like, we're not taking you again. We're not taking you again. Well, my dad wanted to see it. He never saw it. He goes, all right, I'll take him again. 3 of us go. I'm an only child, so it was just me, my mom, my dad. And I guess I was mesmerized. That was it. And I saw it, I don't know how many times, 4 or 5 times with my dad. My dad was not the type of guy to go see a movie 900 times, but I think I saw it 4 or 5 times with him. This had everything. This was the Arthurian retelling. You have the young knight, if you will, or king, but he, Luke Skywalker, farm boy. You have the Alec Guinness character who's I was going to say Gandalf, but Gandalf would work. Merlin. You have the Dark Knight Vader. You have the princess. And then you throw in this rogue character of Han Solo and his buddy Chewbacca, who, one of the great things about Chewbacca was not just muscle. Chewbacca was not Luca Brasi, where he easily could have been. Chewbacca could have easily been, hey, Luca, go take care of this guy. And he wasn't. He was not only muscle, but he was heartwarming. He was smart. He was a technical genius. He really, in a lot of ways, was equal to Han. So that worked, and that was new. And then you had the droids, which, are based off some movie. Samurai movie, I believe, that George loved. And it all works. And they're the comic relief. It works. You have all these aliens, which for 77 people are like, what is going on? Special effects are great. The hero save at the end with Han Solo coming to save Luke at the end, and then them destroying the Death Star. And you have this Empire, which is phenomenal. It's a lot of grays and, monotone and whatnot. And I think this is hilarious if you don't know this. Obviously, the Empire is partially based off the Nazis. But Lucas being very liberal, I love this. And I'm not loving it because of politics or anything. So of the times I could see somebody doing this today. It was also based off the Nixon administration because, Lucas was not a big Nixon person. So the Empire is kind of a mix of the Nazi regime and the Nixon administration. Any rate, this is the one. This is absolute as everything. Great story, great memories, special, groundbreaking, everything. That same feeling is always there with this movie. All right. Will you guys tell me what you think? What's your favorites? Do you agree, disagree, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff? And tell me, whatever you want. See you soon.